Senator Van Hollen is taking Attorney General Pam Bondi to task over a Department of Justice accused of ignoring the Constitution, firing whistleblowers, and slashing funding for law enforcement and victims programs. Is the DOJ protecting the American people or undermining the rule of law? Today, we break it down.
And at the moment, I recognize Senator Van Hollen for his opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Attorney General Bondi. The Department of Justice is supposed to play a vital role in defending our Constitution, upholding the rule of law, and keeping the American people safe. Unfortunately, it's currently failing on all these fronts. And this budget request will make a bad situation even worse. We are witnessing a level of lawlessness from this administration that is unprecedented in scale and scope. Indeed, when asked, President Trump said he didn't know whether he was required to comply with the Constitution of the United States. Instead of defending the rule of law, DOJ attorneys are being deployed to aid and abet in lawbreaking. Like just yesterday, Madam Attorney General, when the administration took, I believe, the unprecedented step of suing all the Maryland Federal District Court judges because of actions they took to protect habeas corpus and the constitutional right of due process. To date, the administration has faced nearly 300 legal challenges in federal courts. There are currently in place a huge number of preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders issued by judges appointed by presidents of both parties, including appointed by President Trump. At the same time, patriotic career civil servants have been fired for upholding their constitutional oaths. In January, the then acting Attorney General fired more than a dozen prosecutors simply because they had been assigned to work with Special Counsel Jack Smith. And dozens of others have also been wrongfully terminated. And you picked up where the acting Attorney General left off when you fired the pardon attorney after she declined to restore the gun rights to a close friend of President Trump with a domestic violence conviction. Perhaps most troubling, Madam Attorney General, is you have fired attorneys like the acting deputy director of the Office of Immigration Litigation simply for telling the truth in court. As he said yesterday, the whistleblower, in a complaint filed, quote, "I didn't sign up to lie." That sends a terrible message to every DOJ attorney who wants to both do their job and uphold their professional ethics and integrity. While spending taxpayer resources to defend this lawbreaking, the administration has proposed a budget that is a gift to our foreign adversaries, to the drug cartels, and to illegal firearms traffickers. Why do I say that? Let's look at each of those categories. On your first day, you disbanded the FBI Foreign Influence Task Force Office, which was established to combat secret malign influence campaigns by China, Russia, and other adversaries. On that day, you also restricted the scope of criminal charges under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Your budget cuts the Drug Enforcement Administration and eliminates funding for the organized crime drug enforcement task forces, which coordinate interagency efforts to combat the worst drug trafficking cartels. And you're effectively dismantling efforts to go after illegal gun traffickers by attempting to dissolve the ATF. At the same time, this budget undermines local law enforcement by stripping away funding that's critical to protecting our local schools and reducing violent crime in rural communities. And many organizations that help the victims of crimes are running out of their fiscal year 25 funds because, for example, the Office of Justice Programs has only posted one grant solicitation for 2025. Meanwhile, under the guise of efficiency, your budget proposes to combine and significantly cut the three distinct DOJ grant-making agencies, including the Office on Violence Against Women, which you propose to slash by 30%. There is nothing efficient about reducing services to victims of crime. Your budget also indicates that transparency and integrity are not priorities of the Justice Department. Over the last 5 months, you've decimated the public integrity section. Public reports indicate that this office went from 30 attorneys to as few as 5. Your budget would also slash the department's oversight watchdog, the Office of Inspector General, by $42 million. Inspector General Horowitz told me that these cuts would result in the elimination of 140 positions, which would bring investigations to a halt and interfere with the IG's ability to conduct oversight of the department. I would note that it was an OIG investigation that helped uncover the FBI's serious mishandling of allegations of sexual abuse against former USA gymnastics physician Larry Nassar. Why target these key areas of public integrity, oversight, and accountability? So, Attorney General Bondi, I hope you'll answer our questions today. I say that because your department has failed to respond to any of the 9 inquiries I have made and have responded to only 2 of 38 letters sent by my colleagues, the ranking members of the Senate and House Judiciary Committees, Senator Durbin and Congressman Raskin. So, Madam Attorney General, we have much to discuss this morning. I look forward to your testimony.
Senator Chris Van Hollen didn't mince words when he addressed Attorney General Pam Bondi in this explosive hearing. He painted a sobering picture of a Justice Department that, in his view, is failing to uphold the Constitution, defend due process, and protect the American people. From firing prosecutors who refused to bend the law to targeting career attorneys who spoke truthfully in court, Van Hollen laid bare a troubling pattern: loyalty in politics taking precedence over ethics, integrity, and the rule of law. The hearing also spotlighted the DOJ's proposed budget, which Van Hollen argued would cripple key national security and public safety functions. Disbanding the FBI's Foreign Influence Task Force, slashing funding for the DEA, dismantling ATF initiatives, and cutting grants to local law enforcement and programs that aid victims of crime, all these moves, he warned, are gifts to foreign adversaries, drug cartels, and illegal firearms traffickers. Perhaps most alarming, Van Hollen highlighted that the Department of Justice has largely failed to respond to oversight inquiries. Requests from congressional leaders, letters demanding answers on critical matters, were ignored or only partially addressed. To him, this isn't just bureaucratic negligence, it's a systemic breakdown of accountability and transparency. This hearing is a stark reminder that the Department of Justice isn't just a government agency, it's the guardian of our constitutional rights. When oversight is ignored, whistleblowers are punished, and public integrity offices are decimated, the foundations of justice itself are at risk. Citizens may not see every court case or budget cut, but these decisions ripple through communities, affecting safety, fairness, and trust in the very institutions meant to protect them. For those watching, it's critical to understand the stakes. This isn't partisan rhetoric. It's about the integrity of the legal system, the protection of victims, and ensuring the Constitution remains a living, enforceable safeguard. To stay informed on these issues and get commentary that digs deeper than the headlines, like this video and subscribe to Left Lens. Knowledge is power, and understanding how justice is wielded is the first step toward holding power accountable.